Welcome back to JayhawkJukebox this semester. I'm Graham Bond.
I'm Zach Galvin.
And we're here with Song of the Week. So Zach, tell me about this song that you submitted.
Yeah, so for this week I chose a song titled Comatose by a band Hollow Front. They're a metalcore band. It's a subgenre of modern metal. They're from a small town in Michigan, and they're just up and coming. And this song is kind of what's going to catapult them to be a bigger band in the scene. It starts out with a really awesome riff that catches your attention within the first 15 seconds. And then it leads right into that verse, and the chorus is huge. The riffage is great. The drum work from this band is insane.
Yeah, that drumming in the song was one of the things that really drew me to it.
Oh yeah, you got double bass, you just got fast-paced drumming, and the stamina that these guys have to have.
So when did this come out?
This came out about 10 days ago, I think.
Oh, really?
So
it's really new.
It's brand new, and it's been on repeat ever since for me. First thing I listen to when I hop in the car, coming up here to school or to work. Yeah, and it just has a nice, simple structure, verse, chorus, nice chill bridge section into a breakdown, which is my favorite thing about the song personally, is that breakdown. It just hits you, and it gets you right in the mood to headbang with it.
Well, I'm not even that much of a Screamo fan, but I'm probably going to add this to my gym playlist
Yeah,
after this.
yeah, for sure. It's definitely gets you pumped up.
Yeah.
So what did you choose this week, Graham?
So this week I picked The Cars, Just What I Needed. It's definitely one of the classic things. I mean, you can't take classic rock at a Jayhawk Jukebox, apparently, even with a new semester. But yeah, no, just, I mean, you were talking about the riff. Something in this song from the moment you just hear those first few seconds, it's just like, it's so pounding and everything. I just love it.
Oh yeah, and I love the synth that they add at the beginning and the end. It's kind of a synth riff is what it is. They play it along with the guitars, and I think it matches up perfectly with that.
Oh, definitely. And R.I.P. to the legend Rick Ocasek. Yeah. But he actually wasn't the singer in this song. It was their bassist, Benjamin Orr, who, honestly, I didn't even know this until I looked this up, like a little bit of background info. But yeah, I don't know if I'd call it a breakdown, but the bridge in this song and just his voice just fuses so well into this.
Yeah, it's a fun song. It's definitely a classic, one that's going to stick around for a while. And whenever it's on the radio, you gotta listen and turn it up all the way.
Absolutely. All right, and we're going to send it over to Audrey, who has an interview with our musical guest.
Thank you guys so much. I am here today with my very talented friend, Erica Labate. How are you, girl?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Yes. So I am a senior here at KU. It's my final semester. I'm from Springfield, Missouri originally, and I am studying, double majoring in both film and psychology, and I have a Spanish minor.
Look at you, double major.
Yes,
I'm
all over
smart,
the place.
smart. Awesome. Yeah. So first, how did you get into music?
Oh, that's a good question. I wasn't expecting. No, just kidding. I mean, I've always been into music. Like, most people are, but
yeah.
I've always been drawn to singing. I've been in choir since I was I don't even remember how young I was, but I was only really doing those kind of like structured forms. So I was only in choir, or I was doing theater. I didn't really start making my own music until I got to college, because I felt that I was really inspired by a lot of the local. Lawrence has a really good local music scene here, and so I would go to a lot of open mics. And I first started out doing poetry, and then I kind of transitioned to music after that, after I decided that I was going to test myself and try it out.
Did you do like church choir? Was it like school choir?
Yeah, it was both. So I did church choir. We would always do like a yearly Christmas like show every single year, and then I did choir as well at my school, just like, you know, the classic songs in Latin and Italian and all that fun stuff. I had a pretty small school, so we didn't have like a lot of those specialty choirs like jazz or like show choir or anything. But I mean, I always loved it, and I was an alto.
Yeah, alto queens, let's go.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, so artists, what artists like inspire you to create your music, and genres too?
Yeah.
Genres.
So genres, I feel like it's really interesting because the first genre of music I was ever really into was Christian screamo, which is like really
wow.
strange, and not a lot of people were
That's
expecting
fun.
that. It's a long story as to why I got into it, but I was really into rock music first, and I felt like it was very passionate, and I loved like screamo artists, and then I kind of like that was like my gateway into more spoken word that kind of edged into like alternative and spoken word over the backtrack of like alternative bands.
Yeah. How long have you been doing spoken word?
Ooh.
Like
I've
a minute?
yeah, I really started my freshman year of college. So I used to perform like poetry and
Yes.
things when
yeah,
I was.
We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, we were literally.
Yeah.
I used to perform like poetry when I was in forensics in high school, but I didn't
fun.
really start performing my own poetry until I got to college. So I just kind of slowly layered things on. But as for more inspiring genres and artists, like I love R&B, I love Erykah Badu, I love Lauryn Hill, I love soul music.
So, yes.
So.
Definitely, cool. So what has been like your favorite performance that you've ever performed in your life?
Right.
Even in just like separate like occasion, like even just like, oh, like what's your favorite performance in your church choir or in your choir or overall or just with your solo moment?
That's really hard. Specifically with music, right?
Yeah, just music.
I
Yeah.
think
Or slam poetry if you want to bring that into it. If you have two separate.
I think when it comes to music, and this might just be because it's really fresh in my mind, but I felt very elated with the last performance that I did at the Granada recently. So I was able to
Yes.
sing with the Whips. They have me visit and I sing some of their songs. They're an amazing band.
Yeah, shout out to the Whips. They
Shout
went
out
to
to
my
the
high
Whips.
school.
We love the Whips in this house.
Yes.
So they're an amazing band, amazing music. It's been really a pleasure to sing with them. And so that last show at the Granada was actually 4 different music artists. So the headliner was Nane, and then there was 2 other bands that are from the KC area, both jazz and supermotor, which were kind of edging into R&B and like alt R&B. And it was just like a really good environment. They gave out, first of all, they gave out free tickets for students.
Oh my God.
So it
that
was like
nice.
accessible. And it was like, oh my gosh, I would have paid like money to see that performance because it was such an amazing show, and all of the performers were so. They were just also encouraging, and they were just like hyping you up, even just like in the sound check. Like, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I can't wait to hear everybody. So I felt like I don't think I've had the same feeling I've ever had like performing at that show. It felt really weird because I was like, why am I at the Granada right now?
Yeah, that's crazy. I know, that's like one of the main venues in Lawrence, and to be able to perform there, that's awesome.
Exactly.
That's so fun.
Exactly.
And that environment, I bet, was fun, getting all the positive vibes from
Exactly. So
all
it was
the
definitely
bands.
a core memory for sure.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about your original song you're going to sing today.
Yes. Yeah, it was kind of like.
I'm going to butcher this. It's synchronicity.
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 Yes.
Okay, good. I was like overthinking it earlier, and I was like, I'm gonna mess this up.
I was trying to send you the pronunciation, but I didn't know how to do the spelling, so I was just like, I guess it sounds like this. But I think I wrote that. I had wrote like little bits and pieces of it, kind of all over the place, my sophomore year in college, as poetry, and then. My sophomore year, I was like, oh, I'm actually gonna make this into a song, and I bought a baritone ukulele, and I tried to go get music lessons, and on the first day I sat on my ukulele. The moment I entered the building, I sat on it and I broke it. So I didn't continue. Right, it was great. So I didn't make it then, and so then the lyrics were just kind of like sitting. And then summer after 2021 or 2020, I was like, what if I do it like digitally? And so I looked into Logic X Pro and was just experimenting with all of that. And I just kind of like threw stuff together and sent it to friends. And I was like, does this sound good? Like, would you actually listen to this?
Yeah.
And then they were like, yeah. And so I kind of just kept adding on after that.
What like inspired the song? Anything?
Oh,
that's
just like you will hear the content of the song is very much about love and wanting to experience love, but also wanting to experience high quality love and like healthy love. And so I was, I focus a lot on the process of healing in the song. So it was inspired by my own healing process when I was like, oh dang, like I gotta spend time alone and
Yeah.
be with myself. And so I think in that peaceful time, I was just like, I want to make a story, or I want to write a song to people that want to experience love, and it's okay to want that, but also who also want to experience that healthily.
Yeah. So do you have any upcoming performances?
Yes.
I know, wink, wink. Actually, fun fact, everyone, Erica Labate is playing at Bullwinkle's Bar next Tuesday, and me and my good friend, Grace Centeno, are opening for her. So if anyone wants to come on down, come on down.
Please come.
But yeah, and also, do you have any social media you want to promote?
Oh, yeah, sure. My name is Erica Labate on Instagram, Erica_Labate on Instagram. My Venmo is, no, just kidding.
My Venmo.
No, but yeah, my Instagram is Erica_Labate, so.
Yeah, so follow her on Instagram, and after this break, we'll hear her sing her original song.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Erica Labate.
Silence, oh, with somebody for hours on end. I wanna breathe in holy synchronicity with somebody before my life ends. Why not you? Why not me? If we vibe, then we'll see. I could be your dream to be, whoa, whoa, whoa. But not 'cause we're lonely, no. Not 'cause we're lonely. I've been inside this house for as long as I remember, making memories of work and sleep and crying while in quarantine, praying to my God above, reveal my holy fortune, please. He say that I just gotta trust. Do I believe what I can't see? See, him and I are pretty tight, my only solace every night. But I'm not looking Sunday best. Is the mirror stained or am I the mess? Still I come before his throne, complaining about the boys I know. He said one day, get over it. I said, okay, I guess I'll quit. The progress started once again, to love myself through thick and thin, through brown eyes, thick thighs, and chubby tummy without the guys. A road to self-sufficiency, self-love and care and grace for me. Those boys don't have the things I need, consistency and inner peace. We vibed alone for months on end for all God and holy friends. We found the strength to just exist without the constant second guess. We named the value of the stuff that managed boys near walked off with. We named accomplishments in life with joy, excitement, and happiness. Oh, 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 you're priceless, a gem, a legend, forget him. You're holy, you're righteous, you're made for the heavens. I'm not gonna call you 'cause I'm lonely. I'm not lying down with you 'cause I can't sleep. Not building a connection on dysfunction. Don't need another cause for my destruction. And I really don't wanna seem like the bad guy, but infatuation hit different in the sad times. So take a moment, breathe in, breathe out, let's take our time. Give me a second to heal. Oh, 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 I wanna know your features, I wanna know your secrets. Let me know all about you, let me know all about you.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. the University of Kansas. A great place to be you.
Welcome back to JayhawkJukebox. I'm Taylor.
I'm Audrey,
I'm Cameron.
And I'm Juliana.
and today we're going to be talking about the soundtrack of the show Euphoria, Season 1 specifically. So, obviously it's an amazing show, but I guess we'll start off with the music, So, even just so the first episode, I mean, there's the song When I R.I.P., that was one of my favorite songs of, just the whole Euphoria soundtrack itself, because it definitely, shows what kind of character Rue is.
Yeah.
And, just
sets her up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely sets her up for the vibes, and yeah, it's one of my favorite songs.
That's the thing with all of the music, I feel like, is each character has a specific, tone in the music that, represents them somehow, and, just the score as a whole. I'm never the type of person to notice, the score unless it's, a specific song from the soundtrack or something. But, this one, just really builds the world in a good way, and I can just put the vinyl on and know what scene a certain song is from without even looking at the title.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all very instrumental too, a lot of noise, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's mostly just sound.
I feel like
Yeah.
music is really good at filling the background. I would rewatched season 1 and I was like, wow, if they got rid of all of this music, it would be so awkward to
Yeah.
watch this.
Yeah,
Because it just
100%.
fills and just meshes everything super well.
Yeah. One of my another one of my favorite character songs is the Nate growing up song.
Oh yeah.
It is it gives me anxiety in the
Yes.
best way
Yes.
possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
for those who don't know, Nate is just a
The worst
toxic
person in the world.
toxic human,
a
and
menace
his
to
song is
society.
just his just his song is just so chaotic and
Right.
stressful,
Well, that's the
but
way
it
he
fits.
grew up,
Yeah,
right.
the way he
Yes.
grew up was in a very
Yeah.
toxic
And I
environment.
like that halfway through the song it calms down and you're
Yeah.
just this sounds like a completely different song and you're just what is this? And then I just remember oh, this is the part where Rue is explaining the really sad parts of
Yeah.
Nate's childhood and it just fits so well that he's so chaotic and then there's just that sad little bit that no one knows about.
Yeah, and the beat drops and you're like, ooh, this, oh,
yes.
Time to party.
back up, hey. So what other songs did you guys enjoy throughout the
My
series?
favorite of all time, maybe one of my favorite songs just in general, is All For Us, which is the very last song of the very last scene of the entire season, where Rue overdoses again, or relapses. And the thing I love about this song specifically, besides just the fact that it's an amazing song, it still gives me chills listening to it to this day,
yeah.
but upon third or fourth rewatch of this season, and I also saw somebody online say something about this, how every time she thinks about relapsing throughout the season, a little instrumental of that song plays.
Oh yeah,
And-
I haven't even
now
noticed
that you
that.
say that, I'm like, you're right. Oh my
And that's what
God.
I love about this score, is it all just works so well together to make everything cohesive, and
Yeah.
it all builds up to these big moments at the end.
Yeah,
And that's one of my favorite examples.
definitely. Do you guys have any songs that you?
Mine is not by Labyrinth. Mine is Fly Me to the Moon by, I think it's Bobby Whackma or Womack or
yeah.
something. I really like it because it's so different than all of Labyrinth's songs. Labyrinth
Yeah.
is so moody and edgy and it just really makes sense with the tone of Euphoria. But the Fly Me to the Moon plays once Rue is released from the hospital after overdosing the first time. And it's just so light, and I feel like it just sets up the show with so much hope for her, and then it just goes into.
And it's crazy too. Throughout that scene, there's a couple little snippets of even her and her mom fighting,
Yeah.
and it's showing how the chaos of someone who's a drug addict is
Yeah.
going through and all of that. Another song that I just feel is fun to talk about is the Funfair song.
Yes.
That is
Because, wow.
so chaotic.
That's when everything
And
hits
that's
the
when
fan.
everything hits the fan.
I kind
Yes.
of hate listening to it because it just makes me on
No,
edge. I'm
it-
Just reminds me of,
literally does.
Maddie.
Yeah.
my gosh.
Oh my God. The clap, clap, clap. Oh, that is so iconic. Yeah, and everything just happens then.
Yeah.
Jules and Rue
It's intense.
meet up and find out that Jules had been seeing Nate's dad and all that. But yeah, and then another one of my favorite songs too is it's in the first episode, I think. Yeah, because it's the party episode when Rue like goes to the bathroom and it's like the spinning wall. And so I know there's gonna be good times. Yeah. That is one of my.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah, that was like that's so funny to me because it's one of my favorite high school songs. But like, because I listened to it a lot in high school. I don't know why. Like, I just like associate it with like all my high school friends.
Like
so it's funny to like hear it in this context, like of like, oh, drug addict at a party, like, oh, it's crazy. But
some of my favorite songs that aren't on the score but are just on playlists people have made on Spotify are like the ones that don't play until the credits at the very end. Like there's one by Solange, I don't remember the name of, and one by like Dodger or something, I don't remember the name of either. But like they're all just on my playlist, and I like forgot that I learned them from watching Euphoria. They're just like some of my favorite songs now. Yeah.
I like still don't know my name.
Yes.
I know we
It's
said
a
it's
classic.
kind of basic, but
It is a classic. It's a classic
And at
Euphoria
first
song.
I thought it was about Rue like not knowing who she was because she's like in this rabbit hole of like addiction and you know, but it's actually about being in love. I looked it up and it's
Oh.
I
Things
know.
I didn't know.
Yeah, no, I thought it was
That makes
about
sense
addiction.
for.
But apparently like the person doesn't love them back the way that the other person does. So it's like
Oh, so that makes a lot of sense.
Right?
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's so crazy.
I also feel like it's just super iconic. Like everyone on TikTok is using it for a sound, for something. Like you're always gonna hear this.
But like it hasn't got cringy yet. Like there's so many songs like that have
I
just
really
been
don't
overplayed.
Think it will.
Yeah.
Like honest to God, I don't think it will. One last question: are you guys Team Rue or Team Jules?
I haven't seen season 2, so I'm gonna
Right
stay
now-
neutral.
Okay.
I'm normally Team Jules.
I'm Team Rue right now.
I'm Team Rue right now. Normally I'm Team Jules, but I've come over to the dark side.
Yeah, that's so
Watching
fair.
2, I'm Team Rue, I think. Right?
Yes.
I'm
yes.
Team Jules, unfortunately. I know. I'm sorry, guys.
I
I'm
love
sorry.
her.
I love her.
Oh, I think
But-
we gotta end it there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm controversial. I'm sorry. All right. Well, that's it for the Euphoria segment. We will see you guys after the break.
Yeah, I always just clap in this part.
This is where everyone's talking amongst themselves. Do you know how to do it? Do you know how to do it?
Are we supposed to smile?
When do we start? Somebody over here already started.
Can we talk about the piccolo part? It's the most complicated one.
It is. If you listen, you're doing it when the band's not playing.
You have to tell me when it starts. I still don't know.
Here we go. Just clapping now. No humps. Nailed it.
I practiced this morning.
Tomorrow is just two people.
It has a right and a wrong way of doing it. No. Wrong.
I like my way better.
I don't know how to do the end.
It's just.
I don't know the head.
It's hard by yourself.
Welcome back. I'm Nathan.
I'm John.
And I'm Graham.
And we're back with a vinyl review this week, but we're going to have a recurring segment now throughout the semester, at least maybe tri-weekly, called the Jazz Corner, where we're going to specifically focus on a jazz record. And today's our first one. We're going to do what many people consider a jazz standard, Moanin' by Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. So I want to start off, first off, how much do you two know about jazz?
I know that it is very vibey and very super chill. I know that there's like a lot of instruments. It's more like kind of like live presentation, usually set, and I feel like I should know more. I know some jazz artists, but that's pretty much it on that part.
Well, that's somewhere to start.
Yeah,
so,
right?
What about you, Graham?
I mean, sometimes I'll listen to it to study. It's like you said, it's very vibey, but I really don't know much at all. We're here to learn.
Well, that's why we're doing this. I want to introduce people to jazz. So this album is Moanin' by Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, like I said. Art Blakey is known as one of the best jazz drummers of all time. And the band that he's had, Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, this was almost like a rite of passage into the jazz industry. Art Blakey would find these up and coming young musicians, and he'd bring them into this group, the Jazz Messengers. And so he did this basically from the mid-50s all the way up to his death in the 90s. He'd basically be a gateway for young jazz musicians to get into the music industry and eventually become solo artists, many of which who are in the Jazz Messengers are known as some of the best jazz musicians ever. This is probably known as his standard work. This, when you think of Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, you think of this album. And it wasn't actually originally called Moanin'. It was originally just called a self-titled Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. But as the song on here, Moanin', picked up more and more popularity, they eventually changed it to Moanin'. So, what were your initial thoughts, both of you, on this album? We'll start with you, John.
So I heard the first song and I was like, oh, this is in the contemporary jazz. It's more of like the obviously it's in the 50s. So I thought of Rosemary Clooney and like different jazz vocalists of that generation and that time. So maybe saying this wrong, or Rosemary Clooney. Is there?
There's Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Ella Fitzgerald.
Sarah Vaughan.
Sarah Vaughan. There you go. Yeah.
All those great jazz vocalists.
Yes, I had a playlist back in the day. It was like, my homework vibe playlist, or listen to just jazz and like feel super smart. So yes, those artists. So I had that kind of feel like I knew where it was going. Kind of like, I guess spunky would be kind of a word to it, but like, just super like. I don't know. It's like 50s jazz is kind of its own genre. So like it's kind of like a build off. I see where contemporary took it off, but it's its own thing. So it's kind of hard to describe.
Yeah. What about you, Graham?
I loved the trumpet work in Moanin'. That was like the first thing that really caught me. I don't know if that was improvised like in the studio, but just something about like the individual, it kind of felt like a solo, just really caught me. I don't remember if it was at the end of Moanin', maybe it was a song after it, but near the end of one of them there was a bass solo that I really liked too.
Yeah.
And the drum track, it's like 4 words, I'm blanking on it now, but yeah, you were saying about how prolific of a drummer he was.
Yeah.
It was just amazing throughout the entire thing.
Yeah. And this is one of the best known lineups of the Jazz Messengers. You mentioned trumpet. This is Lee Morgan. Lee Morgan is considered one of the greatest trumpeters of all time. And unfortunately, he died pretty young. But he was, when you think of trumpet in the Jazz Messengers, Lee Morgan's probably the first name that comes to mind. So when you pointed that out, it makes complete sense because Lee Morgan's such a great trumpeter on here. I'm trying to think who the bassist was in here. I'm actually gonna have to cheat. I can't believe that. Jimmy Merritt. Yeah, Jimmy Merritt is also another great bassist. He was one of the best known bassists, especially with the Jazz Messengers. Especially, he was on a bunch of their albums. And also like you mentioned, Art Blakey. This is kind of Art Blakey in his prime. This is when he was drumming, one of the best of his careers, kind of from the mid-50s to the mid-60s. This was Art Blakey's prime, and he was really good. So, real quickly, what would you two rate the album before we go?
I'd say an 8.
An 8?
Very hate, yeah. Very hate.
I would go with an 8 as well. I could listen to this pretty much about in any setting and enjoy it. Like, it's very easy listening, but at the same time, there's a lot of instrumentation that's really good and appreciated.
I'll give it a 9.
9.
All right, we'll take one last break, and when we come back, we'll be back with This Week in Pop.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
Welcome to This Week in Pop, a segment where we look back on events through the history of pop. I'm Cameron Stewart.
And I'm Juliana Costello. In 1976, Paul Simon's 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover from his fourth studio album started a 3-week run at the top of the Billboard Hot 100. Simon wrote the song after his divorce from his first wife, Peggy Harper.
In 1981, Kool and the Gang had its first of 2 weeks at #1 on Billboard Hot 100 with Celebration.
In 1983, Prince released Little Red Corvette from his album 1999. The song came to Prince after he fell asleep in band member Lisa Coleman's pink 1964 Mercury Montclair Marauder. It went to #5 in Canada.
In 1985, Madonna started a 3-week run on the top of the Billboard 200 album chart with the Like a Virgin. In addition to the title track, the album had hits like Dress You Up and Material Girl.
In 2004, Justin Timberlake won Best Male Pop Vocal Performance at the Grammy Award for Cry Me a River, a song inspired by a split from Britney Spears. He also won Best Pop Vocal Album for Justified.
In 2008, Amy Winehouse won Best New Artist and 4 other Grammy Awards, including Record of the Year and Song of the Year for Rehab.
In 2009, Chris Brown turned himself in to Los Angeles police hours after he assaulted then-girlfriend Rihanna. In August 2009, Brown was sentenced to 5 years of probation, 1 year of domestic violence counseling, and 6 months of community service.
In 2011, Justin Bieber Never Say Never was released in cinemas. It grossed nearly $100 million, setting a record for top-grossing concert film.
In 2012, Whitney Houston was found dead in the bathtub in the Beverly Hilton Hotel. A coroner later ruled that the cause of death was accidental drowning and the effects of heart disease. At the time of her death, Houston had cocaine, Benadryl, Xanax, cannabis, and Flexeril in her system.
In 2017, Adele opened the Grammy Award with a performance of her hit Hello, which went on to win Song of the Year and Record of the Year. In a tribute to George Michael, who died 2 months earlier, Adele sang Fast Love, but not before stopping and starting again. I can't mess this up for him, she said.
And that concludes This Week in Pop. Be sure to tune in next week at 4:30 and follow us on our socials on Twitter at Jayhawk_Jukebox and our Instagram at JayhawkJukebox.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.